It's Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization, and this is a roundtable drive. We're out here investigating a brand new Bigfoot sighting that has photos and a video of the Bigfoot sighting. The main thing that I'm concerned about is I want to measure a snowmobile marker, I guess is what I'm going to call it. They're like your side of the road reflectors, except for these things are much taller to get above the snow in the wintertime. It's kind of let snowmobilers know where they're at and all that. But anyway, the Bigfoot walked past one of those, so I want to go measure one. And I'm hoping I can find the exact spot where the Bigfoot was walking in the video. I'm just going to call it a purported Bigfoot. The guy that filmed it doesn't believe in Bigfoot. And he was actually kind of scoffing at it because he thought it was some dude dressed head to toe in brown and fingertip to fingertip in brown. And the reason why he was scoffing at him is because it was a very dangerous situation. It was a active deer hunting area. This is just less than 7 days ago, and the guy was actually deer hunting, and he was scoffing at this guy that's putting himself in a deadly situation, all covered in brown and not wearing his deer hunter orange. So he busted out his cell phone and snapped a couple of pictures and filmed it. Well, his friend, who is a Bigfoot enthusiast, thinks it was probably a Bigfoot, so he sent it to us. And it is an active Bigfoot sighting hotspot. Jenny and I and the gang, we've investigated a lot of Bigfoot sighting reports in the area. So this, where it happened at, is surrounded by sighting reports. But I want to go and measure those markers it walked past. And then if I can find the exact place, I want to see if there's any physical evidence, footprints and whatnot. Yeah, I'm hoping that it's stepped in soft dirt or mud. And then, of course, this is 7 days later, so it's had a lot of time for the wind, and if there's been any rain up here to destroy any evidence, if there was any. But heck, as rare as Bigfoot sightings are, to be able to get to something 7 days after it happened, I'm very enthusiastic to go check. Now, my gut feeling watching this video the first time is its arms down to its fingertips is a lot longer in proportion to a normal person's, much longer. And then it looks like it has pretty broad shoulders and moves pretty fluidly. And then my other gut instinct looking at it, it was a good distance away from the guy filming it, but it doesn't look like your giant 7-8 foot tall Bigfoot. But because it's not this giant thing, and it very well could be, we could measure these markers and find out that it's much bigger than I think it is. But you know, it may be a teen or a juvenile Bigfoot, and let's face it, Bigfoot's not born 7 feet tall. There's probably a lot more juveniles out there than adults. Who knows? But this is an area that we have camped and investigated many, many times over the years. We're in Logan Canyon, by the way. Yeah, the guy that filmed it still doesn't believe in Bigfoot. So I'm assuming he thinks that someone was out there totally covered in something brown, fingertip to fingertip, head to toe, and putting their lives in danger. You definitely do not want to be in a rifled hunting area during an active hunt like that.
In a brown fursuit.
Right.
Just asking for it.
Yeah, you're asking for injury or death. Yeah, I got the reports and the video last night. Just as it was getting dark last night, so it was too late to come out last night. I need to see this in the daytime to look for physical evidence. So Jenny and I got up first thing this morning and headed out. Yeah, I've already zoomed in, cropped, slowed it, ran it forward, ran it backward. I was looking for any indication of a hoax, and I cannot rule out that it isn't real. I mean, if it's a costume, whoever's in that costume was moving very fluidly and has very long arms and
broad shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Big.
Has a very narrow waist. Yeah, there's one point that it turns side profile, and it's got a very small waist. And I really like that part of the video because anybody that, thinks there's any kind of a Bigfoot expert knows that those costumes that people buy, they don't fit snug or nicely, and even if it's a real thin person that has those on, it's just not going to suck up tight to the belly and the waist like this thing is. It just didn't come out as a hoax to me. There's enough there that we're on our way to check out the spot. And we'll put a link to the video, and you guys will get to see it, the original. You'll get to see it blown up, forward, backwards, zoomed in, all that good stuff. This canyon that we're in, both sides of the canyon, is well known for Bigfoot sightings. Finding Bigfoot's been here to investigate a Bigfoot sighting where it actually crossed this road, so On the right side, back on top of the mountains, on our right side, is the largest grizzly bear ever recorded in Utah. Was killed there, and they got a memorial gravestone marker there. This grizzly bear was 9 feet 11 inches tall. So all intents and purposes, it was a 10-foot tall grizzly bear and weighed 1,100 pounds. They named it Old Ephraim, and his skull is on display at the Smithsonian. Yeah, the bear was a nuisance. It was killing cattle and sheep and harassing ranchers and farmers. And I guess the week leading up to the trapper, this trapper came from Malad, Idaho, that caught up with it and trapped and killed Old Ephraim. I guess there was one night where this grizzly bear killed 15 sheep in one night. He's taller than the largest Bigfoot sighting report in the area. When Finding Bigfoot was here doing their investigation, a plow truck driver that was plowing this road during a snowstorm, 9-foot tall Bigfoot, ran across the road in front of him. And it ran across the road from the right side to the left side. And the reason they know it was 9 feet tall is the guy sitting in his plow truck, it puts his head about 9 feet tall, and he said this Bigfoot looked at him as it went past, and they were eyeball to eyeball. So that's how they know how tall it was. And the episode of Finding Bigfoot, Bobo crosses the road where the plow driver had saw it. So this Bigfoot was 11 inches shorter than Old Ephraim. I'll put a link to a blog that I did about Old Ephraim, and the memorial marker that they have up there is this big stone that's 9 feet 11 inches tall to show how big Old Ephraim was, and I'm standing next to it in the blog, so I probably only come up to the waist of Old Ephraim when he stands on his hind legs. Yeah, Old Ephraim, 9 feet, 11 inches tall, and he weighed 1,100 pounds. That Bigfoot that crossed the road in front of the plow truck driver that was 9 feet tall makes you wonder how much he weighed. Yeah, he come from the Old Ephraim side down into a place called Franklin Basin. During the summertime, Franklin Basin is kind of a popular camping area. There's a lot of places set up that you can set up a trailer or a tent and camp. Kind of gives you a staging area to go back into the more remote. And let's face it, this looks pretty remote right here on the main road, doesn't it? It smells good out there. I always talk about how the Indians called Bigfoot or Sasquatch ridge walkers. It seems in a lot of instances the Bigfoots like the high elevation places. Where this was filmed is close to the summit of this canyon. This area we're going to is just right below the summit. And there's been quite a few deer hunters over the years that have had Bigfoot sightings in and around this area that we're going to. Yeah, in the fall, there's more Bigfoot sightings in the fall than any other time of the year, especially in the Rocky Mountains. And I think the reason is there are hunters out there that are actually going through and bushwhacking. So I think they're pushing the Bigfoot around, and it's causing sightings. Probably confuse the creature on where it should go, what it should do. More people out there to create a sighting, push the creature around. That may explain why the creature come out into the open and got spotted. It may have very well been bushwhacked out by people actively hunting. Yeah, when I was a kid, before I could actually get a tag and hunt, my uncles and my dad would get me and my brothers together, and they would like drop us off or make us hike up to the top of a canyon or a draw or whatever, and then they would have us come down the draw or the canyon, bushwhack and make a lot of noise to push the deer or the elk or whatever they were hunting out, and then they would get at strategic locations. And of course they would let us know where we're at, for safety. And then we would push them out for them and hopefully get one. So I can totally see in those situations the Bigfoot coming out in the open, because it got bushwhacked out just like you would the deer or the elk. I know Jenny's dad used to have her do that too, right? Mm-hmm. I know, you were just telling me a couple of weeks ago about you and Brody doing that for your dad.
There's somebody standing on the side of the hill over there.
Is it a person?
Yeah, they got camo on.
Yep, a deer hunter. I do believe there's a bow hunt going on right now. Last week when this happened, it was a rifle hunt. I was actually servicing some game cameras yesterday with Derek when this guy sent us the photos and the report, and I didn't have cell reception where we were at, so I didn't even know till I got home. And then once I got home, I got a hold of the guy, and the guy's like, yeah, I've got a video too. So I had him send that to me and asked him a bunch of questions, called him at his friend don't believe in Bigfoot and really don't want to talk to us, so I was having to go through him. And of course, he'd already quizzed his buddy. They were up deer hunting together. I mean, they weren't together when it happened, but they were using in the same deer hunting camp. and he's, like, oh my God, you saw a Bigfoot, you filmed a Bigfoot. But yeah, the guy that filmed it is a skeptic. He don't believe in it. Yeah, and he was a good distance away. He may have been 100 yards or less from it. Yeah, maybe if he was closer and could have seen facial detail or whatever, may have changed his mind. Coming up on our left is the Tony Groves area. There's a few Bigfoot sighting reports that come out of that area. I'm actually going to pull in there for a quick second. I need to use the restroom. Only got the campground closed. Might make the measurements and realize that it was taller than it appears to be. I just know those adult Sasquatch get really thick around the midsection, just like adult people do. You gotta store reserves for the wintertime. Getting really close to where it happened. There's a lot of Bigfoot sightings along Beaver Creek. That Beaver Creek comes from Idaho and crosses over into Utah. And not too far past the turnoff where we go to Beaver Creek, and Jenny and I have camped back there several times because of the sighting reports back there.
We spent the whole summer back there one time.
There was a couple of years where we spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever heard what I think was probably a Bigfoot.
that's how I felt too. I think we were hearing Bigfoot vocalizations. We heard them 2 nights in a row, about the same time at night, between like midnight and 1 a.m. Sounded like a woman in distress screaming, although the pitch of the voice, you know it wasn't human, and then the length of the scream was just doesn't seem like a person would have the lung capacity.
No.
It's
way too loud, way too long.
Yeah, I knew that it wasn't a person making those vocalizations.
Oh dear.
But that was my way to kind of describe it. Yep, and it did it 2 nights in a row. And just one time each night. I know sometimes I'll hear those vocalizations as the sun goes down, and you think that it's just going to go on all night long, and it don't. Just like a once or twice thing, and then it's done. But last time we was on a Bigfoot expedition, Mount St. Helens, Washington, the very first night that we set up camp, an hour or two after we were there, Jenny comes and grabs me and Derek and says, "Hey, you got to hear this." And we come outside, and these vocalizations went off and on for over an hour, and we recorded some of them. And it was just like, wow, you got to be kidding me. We just got here. And I thought that was going to go on the whole time we were there, and it just happened a little over an hour that night, and then the rest of the week that we were there, we never heard them again. So we got it was really fortunate. We got lucky. See, there's Beaver Creek on the Utah side.
Little stream.
I think Bigfoot follows the creek.
There's definitely beaver in it. Little beaver lodges everywhere and little dams.
A bunch of deer over there.
Oh,
over there in the willows.
I was looking down.
I saw them because they were bouncing. Their heads were bouncing up above the, the willows. I like how deers bounce when they run. Kind of a bounding thing.
Hiding out down here by the road so they can't get shot.
Hiding from the hunters. Jenny and I are very familiar with this area, so I'm hoping that off of the video and the photos we can find the exact spot, plus the guy I was talking to told me where it was at, but there's sometimes that communication gap. Okay, there's where we go back on a dirt road into Idaho along Beaver Creek back there on the left. Okay, somewhere close to here is where it happened. Okay, I'm gonna go off of the guy's directions. also studied the reflection in the guy's mirror, his side mirror from the truck, to see what was behind him, to try and pinpoint the exact spot as best we can. But we're getting close to the stretch where it should have happened. Well, there's a little bit of snow in the trees up in there. So hoping that snow came before the Bigfoot, so the ground may have been damp.
I don't snow on Sunday.
Oh, then it would have snowed the day after. That could have destroyed any tracks. Gonna try anyway. There's a light dusting of the snow most places. I'll bet you it got a few inches here though before it melted off. I may just drive this entire length up and back before we make a decision on where it probably happened. Looking where he filmed it, it just looks so familiar to me that I think we're gonna find it. And the snowmobile marker that it walked past, those are pretty consistent in size, so I want to measure one of those even if it's not the right one, but I'm hoping I can find the right one that it walked past. Okay, there's Swan Flat Road. That's where these guys had their deer camp set up.
There's somebody right there.
There's something right there?
Somebody. It
Oh,
is
it's a person. Okay.
See, I think
We can pull over up here and look at
I think it was right there.
okay, we can stop and look at the photos and stuff.
Okay.
Hopefully they come up on my phone. I don't think we have cell phone reception, but we'll see.
Okay, I'll tell you why. I think that.
Okay.
I think they were parked on Swan Flat Road over there.
Let's grab a camera in case something happens.
You need to stay up a ways first.
Yeah, that dude's probably down looking for evidence.
That's where it was walking.
Well, this rock outcropping don't look right.
It's because it's not, you can't see it from over here. You need to go park where that black car is.
Yeah.
Because they have to line up with the car.
That dude has he looks like he's in the right spots.
Yeah, you need to be right in here. Yeah, see? They're trying to measure.
I'm gonna go up
They're
and talk
doing the
to
exact same thing.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
You guys doing a Bigfoot investigation?
Yeah.
So are we.
Yeah, I talked to you yesterday.
That's you?
That's me.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we get involved?
He's trying to make a video of his and mine.
Right on.
The Bigfoot guy's here. Hang on.
Nice.
Let's just get all of our equipment ready. They were just planning on doing what they did and leaving, and I think they stayed extra long to bullshit with me.
Mm-hmm.
Neat.
I
really like him.
I do too.
All of them. We want to remain anonymous. Do you want to go to Bear Lake?
I don't care, we're almost there.
Yeah.
Might as well go there and eat, and this car's coming quick. I made it clear up into those trees. Got filmed pictures.
They said that I could use their material. And you heard little kid's the one that filmed it, right?
Yes.
And he zoomed in half the distance that his phone would allow him.
Yeah. I talked to him a little bit. He said that they were on the way to go watch the debate.
From their camp.
Yes, from their camp. Who was debating?
Probably somebody local.
I see.
Probably someone, I don't know, what's the county in Bear Lake called?
That's Cache County.
Cache County. And all these guys live in Cache County. My Bigfoot guy's here. We need to get walkie-talkies like they have.
Yeah, that was cool. They could. Okay, now stand to the left.
Well, I like how their walkie-talkies don't make frickin' any weird noises and shit, too.
Yeah. You should ask him which ones he has.
I will. Wow.
That's pretty today. Boy, that walk felt so good. I didn't want to come back. I was dinking around, then I heard somebody honk, and then I saw you move, and I'm like, I guess I better go back now.
Oh, they were worried about you.
Really?
It's like, does she have a radio? I'm like, no, I didn't even know she was going to go over there. She grabbed the camera and just took off. I'm like, she's not supposed to be hiking. She just had eye surgery 3 days ago. And then Joe goes, she's excited. I'm like, yup. Well, the thing is I watched that thing a zillion times yesterday, backwards, forward, slow, and just trying to see anything that would say that it's someone in a brown ski suit, which you never see, or a costume, and nothing stuck out that way. And then showing up in there, investigating it and trying to recreate it and talking about it, just, you know, if it was someone running around like that, these guys weren't involved.
No.
If they were involved, they wouldn't be here investigating it.
No.
And then we didn't plan this with them.
No.
We just happened to show up the same time as they did. Yeah, I was like, do you guys mind if I make a big deal out of this on our blog and social media? And they're like, no, I don't mind at all. And I go, well, you guys want to remain anonymous? Yes. People out there are nasty. So the bedding spot up there, it just looks like something laying in the grass. How did that look up there in that grove of trees?
I filmed it all for you.
Oh,
It just looks like the pine needles are moved away, and there's little places where, you know, you're out of the rain, you're out of the wind, you're out of the sun, you're out of view of everything. It's nice and quiet up there. There's snow. Something is living up there in the holes. I took pictures of all the holes. The holes are about this big.
like the badger dens?
Mm-hmm. The badger dens are everywhere. There's an active badger up there. Fresh coyote tracks. Fresh moose tracks.
Man.
Elk poo.
There's a lot of activity up there.
Mm-hmm. Lots of it. It's not hard to hike up there, and that tree line above it would even be funner to go up in, but I didn't feel comfortable doing that because I was alone.
Well, yeah, I think they were tripping out. If there's a Bigfoot over there, me looking at you over there, and then through the camera lens and all that while you were over there, you were tiny compared to that thing.
Yeah, it's big. I could tell it was big. The shoulders were big, and the way that it walks is very fluid. So either it was a big person with a big puffed up costume, you know what I mean?
Well, it was a tiny waist.
Well, I'm just saying they stuffed the shoulders big, like a football player would in a costume. And then they were very, very careful to not bob when they walked.
It's so fluid.
Yep, they floated when they walked.
Here's the thing. A couple of random guys pull over, see it, film it for, for the 6 seconds it's filmed. And how's it supposed to know that that's action time from...
Yep.
Yeah, it's just... those guys, I just don't think those guys were involved in a hoax.
Also, when it notices them, it doesn't turn its head, it turns its whole torso to look at it. And then it walks that way, and then it turns back like this. It doesn't turn its head.
It flipped its whole torso, yeah.
It flipped its torso to look, and then turned back.
I don't even know if it was looking at them. I think it might have just been flipping in the direction it wanted to
road.
go.
I don't know, but every time it turned its whole torso to look. It didn't turn its head. So that's a necklace animal.